Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. My name's Amanda and this is a vlog of my late autism and ADHD experience. For those who can see, and then for my blind community, my hair is wet today, and that is actually what kind of gave me the idea for this video. Because today I want to talk about executive dysfunctioning and how it can show up for autistic and ADHD people. And a little bit about what executive dysfunctioning is. I'm not a neuroscientist, so I'm just talking about this from my lived experience. I'm not talking about this in a scientific, medical kind of way. So a lot of times people with autism or ADHD get told they're lazy because they need to go do something and their brain basically is preventing them from doing that thing. It can be something they want to do and their brain, there's some kind of roadblock that is stopping them from doing it. A neurotypical person can be like, I need to go take a shower. I have an hour free, and then just go take the shower. For someone with autism or ADHD, they can think, I need to take a shower. I have the next hour free. I should go take a shower, and then just still not be able to actually get up and do the things that need to be done to get to the bathroom, to turn on the water, to take the shower. Now, sometimes if a person is regulated, their nervous system's regulated, or they have a body double, or they have somebody they can talk it through, sometimes they can figure out what is the thing that's stopping them from taking that action. So it could be like, the water is going to be too I was going to say too wet, because that like sometimes seriously, it's like, I just don't want to be wet right now. Like that sensory sounds too overwhelming. I want to avoid it. So I'm going to avoid the shower. Or for me, oftentimes it's, I don't like the wet hair after. That's one of my biggest resistances. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about that too. But sometimes the other day I needed to go take a shower, and I was just so overstimulated from the entire day. I was just exhausted. And I thought about it and I was like, hey, if I actually take the shower in the dark, then that probably would be okay. So I took my shower in the dark because having the light was like, it was just being able to turn off one sensory experience. And I mean, it was dimly lit. I didn't take it in the complete pitch dark, but sometimes you can figure out what the issue is. For some ADHD people, it's like, I can't take a shower because I don't have a clean towel because I need to do laundry. So I need to do laundry, but in order to do laundry, I need to gather up the clothes. And like, you can see that it chains backwards. So the thought of taking a shower, there's so many tasks that can lead up to it. Or, I didn't do laundry. I don't have clean clothes to put on after my shower. So there can be a lot of things that can prevent an autistic ADHD person it could be sensory, but it could also be just like the string of actual physical things that need to lead up to taking the shower. Or it's a thought of, oh, these are the things I need to do after my shower. And if I take the shower, then I have to do all these things. So there's so many thoughts that can go into our head that make something like taking a shower so much more overwhelming than for a neurotypical person who just pops into the shower and then pops out and gets on with their day. Like, I can't even imagine. So yesterday, I kind of wanted to film a video yesterday, and I kind of wanted to, or I know I needed to take a shower. And timing those things also can be tricky because, usually I don't always, like today, I don't always show up on my videos with makeup and hair, but I like to. I consider doing my YouTube sort of like a job, not really, but kind of. And I like to be presentable when I'm potentially, going to be viewed by thousands of people. And I'm not saying that doing makeup or hair makes me look more pretty. I love the way that I look no matter what, but in general consensus of society that taking time to present yourself in one way is how we do these things before we go into the public realm, right? And my hair was such a frizzy mess yesterday. I'm like, oh, I need to take a shower before I film, but then you got to deal with the dry time. And then I was like, well, I could probably, and anytime, or most of the time, if you see me with a video where my hair is in a bun, it's like, oh, it's really wash day, but I don't want to take the time to dry my hair. So I'm just going to do this video with my hair up in a bun, and then I'll take my shower later. So those thoughts were going through my head. And also, I just had like a really, really busy week last week. And so yesterday was yesterday was Monday. And I didn't really have anything on my calendar on Monday except for going to book club in the evening. And I didn't realize that I needed that down day. Like, I needed it. So all the things that I wanted to get done, I just couldn't, like, I needed recovery, and my body basically was like, you overdid last week, so today we're kind of shutting down. And I wasn't like exhausted. Like, sometimes when I'm in a shutdown, it's like all I can do is be in bed. Like, it's because I pushed myself too much and I'm now just laying in bed. I think I'm getting to a point now where I'm learning to regulate enough that this time my shutdown wasn't as drastic as it has been in the past. So I was able to just have a low-key chill day. But I wanted to take a shower, but it just wasn't happening. Every time I'm like, okay, go take a shower, that executive dysfunctioning, just like I couldn't overcome whatever it needed to do to actually get in the shower. And I kept going, okay, I'll do it later. And then it was time for book club. And I did the bun thing yesterday. I went to book club. And I probably shouldn't have gone to book club. Whenever I am feeling the way that I'm feeling and I have a social activity, I hate to say no to social activities because growing up, I was always so much on the outside looking in that when I got invited to something, I would say yes no matter what, because I never knew when the next time I was going to be invited to something was. And so it's like I felt like I had to take advantage of that invitation because it could be weeks, months, whatever, before I was included again. That was just like kind of how I grew up. And so I'm still kind of like in the, CPTSD, the trauma of that. I do get invited to stuff a little bit more often nowadays, but it's like when I have a social thing, my instinct is just to push through and do the social thing instead of going, is this really best for my nervous system right now? Maybe I should sit out. And I went yesterday, and it was good to see my group. I've been in this club now for about a year, and I have enjoyed making connections there. And I did enjoy seeing the people. But at the end of the night, it made me feel even more exhausted and kind of more drained. And I was sitting there and I was feeling, for the first time in several months of going to the group, I was feeling more like the outsider looking into the group than actually being part of the group. And I think that was not the group's fault. I think it's because I was just so mentally kind of turned off yesterday. Like, I needed that recovery day. And I think I was masking a little bit more yesterday at book club. I think I just kind of slipped into that mask as just a like kind of survival technique. Like I almost had to go on that autopilot because I just really shouldn't have gone. I really should have just stayed at home and just let myself have a full day of, recovery time. Since I kind of had that available, I could have said no to the social thing. It wasn't something I had to do. But in my mind, I was going to come home from the group and take a shower before bed. But then the group wore me out so much more. And I'm an extroverted person. Usually, like when I do go to a social thing, it fills my battery up. But because I was already so depleted, it just wore me out more. And like I said, I kind of slipped into my mask. And anytime we mask, that's going to wear us out. So when I got home, I'm like, not showering. Like I had zero energy. So this morning, I like showering now had like come to the top of the list. Like I really needed a shower. I'm pausing because I've started this video like 3 or 4 times because the first couple of times my words were so jumbled. I'm like, nobody's gonna understand what I'm saying. So I don't remember if I already said this or not. I guess I can edit it out if I have. Different people have different showering requirements for their hair, depending on the texture of their hair. Curly girl people tend to shower or wash their hair only every 3 days, sometimes once a week. I will get in the shower and take a shower and not wash my hair on the days that I don't need to wash. But, there are some days, and I think almost all humans will just skip a shower. Like, humans don't need to shower every single day. That can actually dry out your skin. So yesterday, I just ended up not taking a shower at all. But the last time I took a shower, I hadn't washed my hair. So I was like really overdue for washing my hair. It was my scalp was starting to get kind of itchy. So this morning, the sensory issue of my scalp bothering me really helped me. Like, I'm gonna do my shower before I do anything else, and that did kind of help the executive dysfunctioning because like I had a plan and I wasn't gonna let myself get distracted by anything else. Just do it. But the problem is I was like, wait, I wanted to film a video today, and I'm like, my hair takes so long to dry, even with the diffuser, and this just sucks. And diffusing, I usually only diffuse my hair for a few minutes and then I let it air dry, mostly because the sound of the hair dryer is so loud and it's hot. It just, again, it's so much sensory that I avoid it. Also, ADHD kicks in and I just get literally bored sitting there drying my hair. Even if I'm trying to read my book or something else while I'm drying my hair, it's hard for me to concentrate because of the loud roaring of the hair dryer. So it's a task that I just really hate. So I end up air drying my hair most of the way, and it takes, like I said, it takes hours for my hair dry. And that's why a lot of autistic people will cut their hair really short or something, but I like my hair. So it's a struggle because it's like, it's really frustrating to like something and want to keep it when it does become a detriment to functioning. And you know what? We're all allowed a little bit of vanity, I think. So I could cut my hair to make my life a little bit easier. Although for my hair, when I cut it, it takes more energy to style it because I can't just throw it up in a bun. And I don't feel confident when my hair is like extremely messy. And I've had my hair really short before. I love it, but I literally have to style it then. I can't just go out of the house. Sometimes I could use a hat, right? When I got pregnant with my twins, right before they were born, I cut my hair really short. And this was before I was diagnosed, but it was like there was something in me that knew I wasn't going to have the energy to style and dry my hair every day. I just needed to cut it short. And yeah, I would pull it back in hair bands and wore some hats if I had to go out. But I had little twins, like nobody was judging me, right? Or at least if they were, I didn't care. And like an important part of this video that I want to make is the fact that this is the part that like I want to say and I want it to hit home. For one thing, I think the current numbers of autistic people who are employed is 85%. It's either employed or underemployed. And so what underemployed means is that they're working in a job that's below their skill set because that's the only way they can cope sensory wise. Like if they were in a job that matched what their mental capabilities or maybe physical capabilities are, it would be too much for them to handle on an ongoing basis. So they have to be underemployed. So that means they kind of drop down in skill level to compensate for not being accommodated in the workforce. And that number right now is 85%. I'm wondering if maybe it'll go down the more people like myself who are getting diagnosed, who are very high masking, people who were able to work and just never knew they were autistic. I am part of that 85% though. I haven't worked since my early 20s, and in my 20s, I jumped from job to job because I would work someplace until I had basically a breakdown and have to quit. And then I would go work someplace else and did that. And it was all kind of underemployment type of stuff. I had a bachelor's degree in architecture, but I was working as a camp counselor at a daycare, concession. Well, that was before I got my degree. I worked at a concession stand in a movie theater. I'm trying to think of what some of my jobs were. Anyway, basically, I was kind of underemployed, job hopping, and then I had my kids and decided just to be a stay-at-home mom. And I got to kind of hide under the acceptability of being a stay-at-home mom, when in truth, the thought of going to work was always so overwhelming that, but I just didn't know I was undiagnosed autistic. And that's what it was. It's like, if I'm going to be in a workplace, I need accommodations. Anyway, back to my whole point about the hair. If I had to be somewhere, like this morning, it's a Tuesday, if I had to be at work at like 8 a.m., the executive functioning it takes to perform your job, but then also the things at home that your employers aren't even seeing, like trying to make sure that you show up to work with clean, dry hair, is something that autistic people aren't given credit for. People don't see all the behind the scenes struggles that autistic people are just fighting for just to show up in the world. So if I had to be at a job this morning at 8 o'clock and yesterday life happened as it did for any other autistic person, and I didn't make it into the shower, I would have had to make the decision to like try to dry shampoo my hair one more day, try to wash my armpits with a washcloth or something and show up to work without the best hygiene, or I'd have to show up to work with slightly damp hair, because unless I woke up at like 5 a.m. to wash my hair, oh my gosh, could you imagine how that would throw off my executive functioning at work if I had to wake up so much earlier to wash my hair to get to work. And I know that there are autistic people out there doing this exact thing. They are like, shoot, I didn't shower. I'm going to have to wake up so early to get my hygiene schedule routine done so that I can be professional in the office. And it just adds to the burnout and exhaustion that autistic and ADHD people are having to deal with. That neurotypical people, it's not even a consideration for them. Like, even if my hair didn't take so long to dry, and I still had to be at work in the morning, and a neurotypical person just wakes up, gets in the shower, heads off to work. But an autistic person, an ADHD person, sometimes just freaking getting out of bed is a very hard executive. The task switching from being in bed to getting out of bed, for me, it takes me sometimes between 30 minutes and an hour every morning to do that task switching. It's like it takes time for my brain to just like wake up all the way. And I have the luxury because I don't have to be somewhere. But some autistic ADHD people who have to be at work at like say 8 a.m., they have to schedule in that time of task switching. They don't get to sleep because they know their brain is going to take that long for them to get out of bed. That's why a lot of ADHD people are late to work, because we're chronic people that struggle to sleep. It's common for, our diagnosis also. And then we'll set our alarms to give us the most amount of time. And especially if we're not super aware of all of what's going on with our brains, we'll tell ourselves, I'm going to sleep as long as I can, just so, and I'll just make myself get up. But they don't, you don't realize that, sometimes you can't make yourself get up. That's the disability. That part is the disability. We can want to do something so super bad, and it doesn't mean our brain is going to let us. Parents will yell at their children, get out of bed, you're sleeping in, you get up. And it's like the brain is not braining. It is not, that is the invisible part of the disability. And that's a part that is so frustrating, because you would not tell somebody with a physical disability, oh, just get over it and, climb the stairs. But with people with ADHD and autism with an invisible disability, they get over it. Just do that thing that is in your disability. And it is so frustrating. And it's something that I really, really want the world to understand. And I mean the world, because a lot of autistic and ADHD, this is one of the biggest parts of internalized ableism that we have around our own disability, is the fact that we've been told that we're lazy so often, and we internalized it and we believe it, and we're not acknowledging that it is literally part of the disability. And you'll have people say, oh, you're using it as an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's a reason. And I'm not saying that there aren't people out there who don't have good intentions, autistic ADHD people who have good intentions. But we're allowed to be, I don't like the word lazy, but we're allowed to not want to do something, But there's times when we really want to, and our brains just won't let us. And that's not being lazy. So that's all I got to say. Anyway, I hope that you got something out of this video. It's always my biggest hope. And I'm not very good at this whole YouTube part at the end. Most people just switch off at this point anyway, but if you made it this far, I really appreciate it. I'm really proud to be growing my channel. Being a disability advocate is something that I've wanted to do my entire life. I've said that so many times. Help me amplify my voice by sharing and, doing all the algorithm things to, show your appreciation for this video. And if you're new to the channel, I highly recommend you check out my playlist that is common autistic traits. I put together that playlist where I broke down a lot of common traits. There's about 5 per video, and it's one of my favorite playlists on the channel. And until the next time, bye guys.